Le temple de la voiture connectée, ici, juste à côté de Versailles, à Satory. Nous sommes au cœur d'une base militaire qui, en ce moment, accueille donc des voitures connectées. La voiture de demain roule peut-être ici.
Et oui, alors ici, il y a de l'espace. Donc, les constructeurs, les centres de recherche viennent tester leurs inventions. Et aujourd'hui, particulièrement, ils nous présentent tout en même temps. C'est l'occasion de découvrir des choses assez incroyables, comme François, la voiture qui roule toute seule à la française.
Voilà, la voiture qui roule toute seule. Alors, c'est l'INRIA qui développe ce modèle. Hein. Alors, vous regardez, hein, cette voiture, elle est quand même assez bricolée. Hein. Il y a des capteurs partout, il y a des vérins aussi. C'est assez étonnant. On rentre dedans, Jérôme, on va voir ce qui va se passer.
Allez, petit tour en voiture sans chauffeur. Alors voilà, nous sommes dans une voiture qui roule toute seule, une sorte de Google Car à la française. Ça, c'est un système qui a été mis au point par l'INRIA, l'Institut national de la recherche en informatique et en automatique, donc Institut français de recherche. Et le concept est un petit peu le même que la Google Car. Donc la partie pédale et la partie volant est prise en charge par une espèce de dispositif là, qui est dessous. Et tout cela est piloté par un ordinateur qui est ici, et un ordinateur sous Windows. Bon, alors c'est une petite voiture, hein, donc je suis devant, François est derrière. François, tu te sens en sécurité ?
Alors écoute, oui, je suis en sécurité parce que déjà la demoiselle qui est devant nous a l'air de s'y connaître, hein, donc ça va, tout va bien. Mais c'est quand même étonnant. Alors on est dans une petite voiture, une C1, hein, et on voit que ça fonctionne. Malgré tout, on se pose la question de savoir si ça marcherait véritablement dans des environnements un petit peu plus hostiles, hein, de la route, c'est-à-dire par exemple le périphérique parisien, ou alors si on devait traverser un village ou une ville. Donc mais c'est étonnant, et il y a toujours ce côté un peu magique de regarder, de voir le volant qui tourne tout seul, la voiture qui accélère toute seule. Voilà, il nous tarde que ça arrive demain, parce que l'idée c'est que demain on puisse avoir ça aussi dans notre voiture. Alors je sais pas, peut-être dans 5 ans, dans 10 ans, mais ça arrivera sans doute un jour.
La limite de vitesse est fixée à 50 km/h. Néanmoins, le conducteur peut choisir lui-même la vitesse, et c'est lui qui a le dernier mot là-dessus. Alors voilà. Et puis par ailleurs, on a aussi, il peut aussi prendre des décisions comme faire un arrêt d'urgence en actionnant le bouton stop, ou il peut prendre la décision de changer de voie pour doubler quelqu'un ou pour tourner par exemple.
Et comment fonctionne le repérage ? Alors il y a des capteurs à l'extérieur du véhicule ?
On a un système de localisation qui nous permet de savoir où on est très précisément. Donc avec un GPS qu'on va fusionner avec les informations sur la vitesse ainsi que sur l'angle de braquage du véhicule. Donc ça nous permet d'avoir une précision centimétrique pour la localisation. Et on a également un système de détection de lignes de marquage grâce à la caméra qui est située juste ici. Après, à l'avant du véhicule et à l'arrière, on a des capteurs laser qui vont nous permettre de faire la détection des obstacles.
Est-ce que c'est le même principe que la Google Car dont on a beaucoup parlé ?
Alors, il y a des choses qui sont comparables. Néanmoins, ce qu'il faut savoir avec la Google Car, c'est qu'elle est équipée d'un capteur laser qui balaye sur 64 couches, qui permet de faire une cartographie 3D de l'environnement. Ce qui est très bien, mais néanmoins, c'est un capteur qui est très onéreux, puisqu'il coûte dans les 60 000 $.
Bon, dans les virages, parfois, on sent que c'est un petit peu sec. Hein. On voit qu'on est encore dans un prototype, là. Hein. Oula.
Bon ben voilà Jérôme, on peut le dire, nous avons fait un tour dans une voiture qui se conduit toute seule, et la première chose c'est qu'on est toujours vivant. Voilà, ça c'est plutôt
vrai.
Positif.
On l'a échappé belle. Bon, alors on le voit, c'est quand même encore un peu expérimental.
Oui, bien
hein.
sûr, bien sûr.
Ouais, bon, on va pas faire du French bashing, mais il y a peut-être encore un peu de travail là. Hein,
Voilà, c'est vrai. Mais bon, écoute, ça a le mérite d'exister. Il y a encore, on va dire, un potentiel, hein,
oui, il y a un potentiel
de développement.
Allez.
Many people think self-driving cars are science fiction. But the reality is that already today we are testing self-driving cars like the one behind me in real traffic on roads in Gothenburg, Sweden. So right now we're in the prototype vehicle and we're driving in Gothenburg on a typical road that a lot of people use for their daily commuting. And I can show how to activate the system. One simple press on a button and the car will take over the braking, the accelerating, but also the steering. In this case, I still will have to supervise the system because this is an early prototype. But our intention is that in the final product, a driver can actually release the steering wheel without having to supervise, such that he or she can do something else with their time. The car uses radar, camera, and LiDAR technology to monitor the actual environment around the car. The sensing has to be so robust that drivers can rely on the car to drive in a safe way. It also uses a map of the roads that we're traveling on. So we use a communication link between the Volvo Cloud and this vehicle in order to get the latest map data to this vehicle. We do analysis on traffic safety, and we've done so for many years. And we know from this analysis that almost all collisions that occur are caused by human error. If you would automate driving, you take away the causes of many accidents and you can make traffic safer. It's great to be in Sweden because in Sweden we have a very good cooperation with the road authorities. And this is crucial for bringing self-driving cars to the market. At Volvo Cars, we have the objective in 2017 to actually bring 100 self-driving cars to our customers on real roads here in Gothenburg.
I'm interested about the legal implications of having autopilot in the Model S's, right? What happens, Elon, if the car does in fact crash? Who is going to be responsible when that car is on autopilot?
Yeah, so I think it's important for us to differentiate autonomous driving versus autopilot. Autopilot is what they have in airplanes. For example, we use the same term that they use in airplanes, where there's still an expectation that there will be a pilot. So if the onus is on the pilot to make sure that the autopilot is doing the right thing. We're not yet at a stage where you can go to sleep and wake up at your destination. If we would have called it autonomous instead of autopilot if that was the case.
Right.
But what we are doing is making it a lot easier and more comfortable to drive the car, and incorporating a lot of active safety features so that the car will stay in its lane, will automatically brake, will maintain a distance to other cars, will avoid like highway barriers and other obstacles.
But that doesn't still address the question, though, Elon, which is, let's say it's on autopilot, so it's not autonomous. But if it's on autopilot and a driver says, hey, you know, this was supposed to change lanes for me, and instead it hit this barrier, I want Tesla to be responsible for this.
Yeah, I think we're going to be quite clear with customers that the responsibility remains with the driver.
Okay.
We're not asserting that the car is capable of driving in the absence of driver oversight. That will be the case at some point in the future, like maybe 5 or 6 years from now. I think we'll be able to achieve true autonomous driving, where you could literally get in the car, go to sleep, and wake up at your destination. But in order to do that, you have to have fully redundant systems. Everything's got to be redundant so that any one system breaking does not result in an accident. Mm-hmm. And you also have to prove that out over millions of miles of driving. And then, of course, then we have to prove that to the regulators to convince them that it's safe. And so I think from the point at which true autonomous driving is possible, which I now think is probably in the 5 or 6 year time frame.
You said that before, though, 5 to 6 years, yeah.
A couple of years ago, I thought it was more like 10 years, but based on the rate of improvement that I'm seeing and the progress we're making, I think we'll probably be able to do it in 5 or 6 years. And then, but it's probably still going to take 2 or 3 years after that before the regulators approve it, because they'll want to make sure that it's truly a lot safer than driving with a person. And the standard for fully autonomous driving is going to be much greater than for a person.
Right.
Because if it's just equivalent, that wouldn't be enough.
There's no
The world depends on mobility. In fast-growing cities, people spend more and more time in their cars. But soon, in a not-so-distant future,
System is active.
self-driving cars will ease this commute. If the self-driving car will be coming to the roads is no longer a question. The question merely is, when?
We don't know exactly when we're going to be able to buy autonomous cars, but we do know the opportunity is coming soon. The idea first appeared in the 1930s in a monthly sci-fi magazine called Air Wonder Stories, but it wasn't until the 1980s when Carnegie Mellon University's NavLab created the first self-sufficient and truly autonomous car. Bryce and I actually got to ride in one of NavLab's later public bus models in 1997, and trust me, having your bus driver stand up and walk to the back of the bus while you're tearing down the highway at 55 miles per hour is a surreal experience. Since those years, autonomous vehicles have come a long way, especially in the last 10 years. In 2008, the autonomous movement's biggest achievement came when a self-driving Volkswagen Passat was able to recognize a stop sign and apply the brakes on its own. 2 years later, in 2010, Google had built an entire fleet of autonomous cars and clocked a total of 140,000 miles on Californian roads, driving alongside other cars and pedestrians and obeying not just stop signs, but all traffic signals, including traffic lights. By 2012, that same fleet had covered 300,000 miles without a single accident. Google and VW aren't the only ones with their sights set on the self-driving market. Mercedes-Benz began testing autonomous driving in the 80s when NavLab was around, and recently revealed their luxury F015 concept model, equipped with internet-connected displays that can be controlled via eye tracking and hand gestures. Last year, a BMW drove itself down the Autobahn, Audi sent an autonomous vehicle up Pikes Peak, and at the Tokyo Auto Show in November, Toyota unveiled its Prius Avos, which is an acronym for Automatic Vehicle Operation System, which can be summoned by the rider remotely. Now, despite some legal, safety, and privacy obstacles standing in the way of companies bringing self-driving cars to market today, unknown questions like, can the system perform in a blizzard, or who is going to be legally responsible if the autonomous vehicle hits a pedestrian it didn't recognize? Automotive CEOs still think the autonomous car is inevitable as the technology advances. Google has said it wants its cars in the hands of consumers by 2017, and Tesla's Elon Musk wants passengers to, quote, get in, go to sleep, and wake up at your destination by 2019. By 2020, GM, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Nissan, BMW, and Renault all expect to have at least semi-autonomous vehicles available for purchase. Jaguar is expected to release one in 2024, and Ford plans to enter the market by 2025. If these predictions go as planned, the world is going to be in a much different place by the time 2030 is here. 1.2 million people die in auto-related accidents every year in the world. In the US, 40% of the deaths involved alcohol. Now, computers don't get drunk or mess with their cell phones or get distracted, so expect auto-related deaths to approach zero as more autonomous cars hit the road. Not only is it going to be safe, but it's going to be fast. The average American spends 52 minutes commuting to work today, but not for long. Say bye-bye to stoplights and traffic signals and say hello to high speeds. The autonomous car of the future will be able to plot a direct course and communicate with the other cars on the road so that as many as possible can fit and keep the flow moving as quickly as possible. Autonomous cars are going to be accessible to the disabled, elderly, and young, which raises an interesting question. If the autonomous car is no longer a car but a computer, then do we need to regulate it as much as we do with the cars today? Will you need a license to ride in one? I doubt it. Our environment is definitely going to thank us. More efficient driving means less energy is burned into our atmosphere, which means less carbon dioxide, which means cleaner lungs, healthier humans, and a longer lifespan for our planet. In disaster relief situations, hurricanes, fires, tsunamis, an army of autonomous vehicles could be ready for rescue missions. Finally, people are going to be happier. Stressful hour-long commutes shackle human joy. It is going to be nice to get rid of them. Thanks for watching.
Volvo has now designed a complete system solution. Multiple radars, cameras, a laser, and ultrasonic sensors monitor the complete 360 view of the surroundings. A network of computers processes the information. High-performance GPS and a cloud-based 3D digital map, continuously updated with real-time changes in the traffic environment. If anything fails, there is a backup solution, just like in an aeroplane. This includes vital components such as computers, sensors, steering, and brakes.
Autonomous driving. It's about more safety and more comfort in personal mobility. Many of our current vehicles already provide first self-driving features, such as Stop-and-Go Pilot, which drives the vehicle autonomously through traffic jams. It may take a few more years before our cars can drive fully autonomously on all roads and at all speeds. But the good news is that drivers, if they want to, will soon be able to let their vehicles carry out more and more autonomous maneuvers in more and more situations. First on the motorway, and then when parking. But what does a vehicle need in order to drive autonomously? First of all, it has to understand its environment in order to decide which action it needs to take. To do this, it needs a lot of data and information which is provided by its sensors. Currently, we use ultrasound, radars, and cameras to cover the vehicle's environment in all directions. In the future, additional sensor technologies may be added to this. Let us now take a closer look at the sensor setup of our current research vehicles. From the standard vehicle, we took the stereo camera, which accurately measures objects in front, such as stationary obstacles, other vehicles, or pedestrians, up to a distance of about 50 meters. It also determines the course of the lane. A long-range radar can look even farther into the distance. This car has 2 more of these radars installed on each side to look at traffic from the right or left, at junctions and intersections. There are also 4 short-range radars which check the immediate vehicle surroundings, which is useful at roundabouts and to safely pass cyclists. One camera looks to the front and checks traffic lights. Another one covers the back and helps us to improve localizing the vehicle together with the GPS system. The vehicle is assisted by digital maps, which are more precise and more detailed than the conventional navigation maps we are used to. They contain, for example, the position of stop lines or traffic lights, advanced information which is later validated with the onboard sensor system.
On the road, the car is able to handle even the most complicated scenarios. The technology is so reliable that the driver can focus on something else without having to pay attention to the traffic. Just like good drivers, potentially critical situations are approached with sensible caution. And in an emergency, the car reacts faster than most humans. When autonomous driving is no longer available due to exceptional weather situations, technical malfunction, or reaching the end of the route, the driver is prompted to take over again. If the driver doesn't take over in time, the car will bring itself to a safe stop. With the Drive Me project, Volvo enters uncharted territory in the field of self-driving cars. Taking the final step to driving safely in real traffic with ordinary people behind the wheel has never been done before. And for drivers, the everyday commute transforms from lost time to quality time, open for work or pleasure. The choice is entirely yours.
La commercialisation de la F015 est prévue pour 2030. On peut remarquer que le volant est télescopique. Une fois que le mode automatique est activé, le volant rentre dans le tableau de bord et les sièges avant pivotent vers l'arrière de 180 degrés. La voiture se transforme donc en un salon roulant.